Hello, value seekers. Welcome back to our channel and welcome to this series of demystifying cybersecurity, unlocking cybersecurity. And we have again with us Commander Bhim, who's a veteran turned cybersecurity entrepreneur, and he's the founder and CEO of the Hacker Central, which provides cybersecurity skill development and training for individuals as well as corporates and government organizations and universities in India and abroad. So, welcome, Beam, once again. Uh, and
Thank you, sir.
today's focus is going to be on testing waters and exploring your own aptitude for cybersecurity. And I'm telling you, this is the most difficult part actually. No, Bhim sir, actually में ये बहुत मुश्किल part है.
I
Part which
understand.
is very important and we often don't give that much of importance to it. You know, all the private universities, etc., or any other private institute who are training, they make it sound as if after this you're going to be something different.
Superman, Spider-Man.
Yeah, yeah, but they don't consider the fact whether the person whom they are selling their courses to, he has the aptitude for it or not. और यहाँ पे जो बहुत बड़ी गलती हो जाती है. So let's start without wasting much time. तो भीम, बिफोर एनी कोई भी इंडिविजुअल जो है वो अपने आप को कमिट करे साइबर सिक्योरिटी करियर के लिए, वेदर बिफोर कमिटिंग टू अ साइबर सिक्योरिटी करियर, हाउ कैन एन इंडिविजुअल गेज देयर एप्टीट्यूड एंड इंटरेस्ट इन दिस पर्टिकुलर फील्ड?
Okay, thanks for having me on your podcast, sir. Uh, this is one thing that is you're very right in saying that people might just enter into a profession or take up something without testing the waters or without seeing whether they have the aptitude for it or not. Okay, so a lot of times it happens that you get into the organization and you still don't know whether you have an aptitude for it or not. Sometimes you're pushed into it. Sometimes you're kind of go there out of your choice. So here we're talking about the choice. So before making choice, it's almost like a short service commission officer when he comes into 7 or 8 years into the service, or when somebody is considering PMR. What is the first thing you do when you say when I want to leave? You something like that. You pick up phone and talk to people who you are comfortable with, your seniors, your postmates who've been outside, or your squadron mates, squadron types, or any of the other people that you know, right? So that's one thing that is irreplaceable, that you have to talk to people. People who are, if we are talking about specifically this particular domain of cybersecurity, we need to, I advise each one of you to talk to people more often. Okay, if you have come to this particular channel to watch this, that itself says that you've already started the journey. But each one of them in cybersecurity in this particular industry, what happens is that almost everybody has a different path to the journey that they have taken, different path that they have taken to become a professional in it. Right? So you will hear diverse views. You will hear a lot of people who will be telling about, some people might encourage you, some people might discourage you. But those are good things. Right? Even if somebody has discouraged you, it's good that they have said that, okay, you don't have the aptitude, you don't come from a background, right? You're from the infantry. How can you fit into and something that has got core IT in it, right? So that itself is something that will really give you that particular thing, that you talk to people. And at the same time, there are a lot of other platforms that are available. You need to do a study, because it's coming, choosing a second career, whether it is at a PMR stage or whether it is short service commission, or even for some people who are at a superannuation stage, choosing a career is always a path that the preparation has to be started. It has to start 2-3 years in advance. You cannot just wake up one fine day and say that, okay, next month I'm leaving, right? So it's that kind of a path that you follow.
Fine. So, and what about the practical exposures? So, Beam, are there any ways for someone without a formal background in cybersecurity is there any way that he can gain some kind of practical exposure and a hands-on experience
Yes.
Which will
Yes.
help him in gauging whether he has the aptitude or not?
Yes, definitely, sir. If a lot of people, when you go across and you talk to others, they talk about the certifications, right? They talk about the certifications, like you must have heard of PMP everybody's heard of, but in information security there are a lot of other things like CISM, CISSP, CEH, and you keep hearing these things. But I wouldn't. One thing but that you have specifically mentioned is hands-on skills, right? So having hands-on skills adds a lot of advantage to you, especially in this particular profession where you are leading a if you are choosing this particular profession after a certain point of time, you'll be leading a group of professionals who are hands-on and they know they have the skill, right? So the key is skill over here. So you need to develop your skill and add knowledge to it. A lot of these certifications that we're talking about or a lot of these college education that we're talking about is mostly knowledge-based education, right? Where people tell you what happens in the classroom and then you don't do any hands-on work. So hands-on work is very important. There are platforms like Try Hack Me. There are platforms like Hack the Box. There are some like Pico CTF. CTF is Catch the Flag, is what it is. So Catch the Flag is kind of a challenge that is thrown at you and you solve using whether it is Linux, Windows, PowerShell, whichever. I mean, it's just one of many other aspects of it are there. So these things give a very good view of what exactly people are doing. Somebody sitting in Security Operations Center, a very low-level professional, and he's trying to do something on his computer, right? So a lot of times it happens that you don't know what that guy is doing when you're on top. So you are testing out waters by going into these practical platforms and seeing. It is almost like you're put through the cadet training or in the academy so that you know what the lowest guy is going through when you become an officer, when you become a leader, right? You already have gone through that particular phase. It's almost like that if you're trying out these skill platforms. And there are a lot of them. There are a lot of these platforms. I can give a list also if needed sometime.
Fine. So yeah, it will be good if you can give a list, and we will put it in the description box below this video, and it will
And
help our
a
viewers.
unique thing, so and a unique thing that we are doing at the Hacker Central in our courses, that we are combining these platforms like Hackbox or Try Hack Me and the other platforms that are there to give hands-on skill to people in addition to the knowledge transfer that is done.
So, what are the online resources or communities would you recommend for individuals to, learn more and interact with cybersecurity community?
So there are a lot of communities that are available, sir. But first, I would say that you get into touch. Each one of you who's considering a profession who come from either IT, tech, non-tech background. If you are concerned with other profession, first thing you need to is talk to people. That is irreplaceable. Talk to at least 5 or 6 professionals who are already there in this particular profession. There might be somebody who's come from infantry background and then has become a professional. Somebody who's come from maybe a communication branch, which are more into IT and then have taken up this profession, right? So if you talk to diverse people, you'll get the opinion that will become a very good starting point for you. And then online, if you spend a lot of time online, there are a lot of resources. YouTube is one resource, of course, that you can go through. But only thing is you shouldn't get distracted too much about a lot of politics, geopolitics that is happening out there. But if you can dedicate your time, YouTube is a very good source. And there are these platforms on called Reddit, Reddit, and GitHub. These platforms are there, and there are a lot of communities. For example, if you try these platforms like I mentioned, Try Hack Me, TRYHACKME, tryhackme.com. We are partners in India, in fact. So if you go to that platform, if you log in, there is a community of people who are talking to each other. The platform is gamified. It makes it very interesting. It's even youngsters, elder people. It's almost like when you're learning hacking, it is almost like you're playing a game. So that gets you an interest into that. So you try this hands-on skill and then get an overview of a very good knowledge base. That is also important. And by studying a lot of blogs and all of that. Like I mentioned earlier, I can always provide certain resources that are available offline, which you can publish.
And how much does the mentorship play a role in in all this? How important is mentorship in the field of cybersecurity, and how can people find mentors or guidance?
Very, very pertinent questions, sir. Actually, if you see, this is one of those professions where you cannot do without somebody guiding you. even if you're at a level where you have finished 20 years of service, and even if you have somebody has come from core IT background, or even say they have come from one of the cyber groups or whatever, even those people will need mentoring when they come in the outside world and trying to test their waters, trying to make this as a profession. Very important. So you need to find at least those people who are um, who have done well in profession. If you don't have, organizations like ours is always there. At the Hacker Central, we have a pyramid, a path. I don't have the slide now, but then we always put that thing saying that, okay, you need, what do you need to become a professional? Any professional. Cybersecurity, yes, but any professional. You need, your foundations have to be absolutely clear, right? And then you have to gradually move to a level where you're confident that you're doing everything. Then you need somebody to hold hand and support you, career support, right? You need a lot of mentorship and guidance as to how your entire career, how your whatever you have done in the career can be taken advantage of when you go into a new profession, right? So all these things will be helpful if there is a mentor or there is some guidance that is there. So organizations like ours is also there. I'm not the only one, since I've got the the platform here. I'm advertising myself. You can always come back to the Hacker Central the our website that I will give it to you, and come back to me and give this. So we can provide that kind of advice and mentorship. But again, it comes with a caveat. There is no replacement for hard work and perseverance. So you have to be putting in that hard work and try and find a mentor. If you can't find, come to us.
So it makes the journey that much more easier, and with the set course, it gives you the direction, I think.
Yes. And also, you should also attend a lot of events and seminars and webinars that happen. That gives a lot of perspective, because at this point of time, when you're looking at career, taking up a career in the second, as you're in the civil world, going out there, meeting out people out there, networking, talking to more people. Networking is the key, in fact. You talk to more people, you get more information. Then it is up to you. A lot of times, you take out the clutter and you take the right information, right? But you still need that clutter. You still need to talk to a lot of people.
So, as a final takeaway message, as a final thought, what encouragement or advice would you give to those exploring their aptitude for cybersecurity?
Yes, I mean, very good question for that matter. In fact, if you see, you need to explore first, and then see, establish that this is the right career for you, especially if you're coming from a non-tech background, and then only go for it. A lot of people like me would come and, in fact, would come and say that, oh, it's great, you can come into the profession and, take these courses and all that. That is there. But still, you need to test some waters. You need to go to these forums. You need to go to these platforms. You need to study a lot of blogs and go through the YouTube videos and all that. Nowadays, videos have replaced the blogs, but I would say that there are a lot of blogs that you need to study and test certain things, and go ahead and do some things. It's like that. Uh, I would just give an example. A lot of pilots, you know, you can make them sit in the classroom and talk any number of hours about the flight and how to fly and aerodynamics and all the stuff, right? But till the time that pilot, the trainee, does not go and sit on the simulator, he will never be able to learn flying, right? So this cybersecurity profession is also something like this, that you have to test your waters. You have to go to these platforms. You have to go to the simulators that are available online, or people like us who are providing this kind of opportunity, and then test those waters and test, and then you decide whether you are made for it or not made for it. And mentorship, very important.
Fine. Thank you, भीम. हम आज की ये टॉक यहीं पे ख़त्म करेंगे, और वी विल मीट यू सून अगेन फॉर आवर नेक्स्ट पार्ट, विच इज़ बिल्डिंग अ साइबर सिक्योरिटी करियर. एंड I'm sure that people are enjoying and they're finding it valuable. After going through that talk of part four, that is building a cybersecurity career, then we'll end this series with a advanced level, uh, you know, uh, totally focused on cybersecurity detailed talk, right?
So,
So let's end this talk today. And before we go, my request, hit the subscribe button, join us, and let's demystify cybersecurity together. And join Value Talks, where every talk adds value to your journey. Thank you.